Crucial game coming up Tuesday night against Russia. What do we need out of this one then?
I think we need a win. I really do. I mean, the way the head is looking at the moment, because of the draw, the 0-0 draw against Slovakia, it actually puts us in a stronger position for second place. But is that what we're looking at? I think we've got to try and look a little bit further ahead than that. I think the boys' attitude over 6 games has been quite magnificent. The game against Slovakia was obviously a disappointment, but I think they'll really put out for this game against Russia. One thing I have noticed with the Irish side, when they're together for a length of time, the more they're together, the longer they're together, the better performance comes. It's sort of as if they understand what's required from them, the fitness gets better, and then the self-belief comes in the second game. I don't think, outside of Ireland, anyone will give them a chance. I think most neutrals and people in Russia will probably suggest that Russia will win this one. But they've struggled. They've only beat Montenegro recently 1-0. They lost at home to Slovakia 1-0. So it's not, a place you go to where you can't pick up a result. You can go there and be positive, and if you get them on the wrong day, you might get something out of it. Now, bearing in mind when we played them at the Aviva Stadium, we lost 3-2, and we were well out of contention for long spells. But when we pressurised them, and when they thought the game was won, they weren't quite as good as we thought. And I think that's got to be the thought process in this. And one thing I think you get with the Irish team, and the current team as well, you don't always get 2 performances the same. If you've had a bad one, I think we'll get a good one. And I think because with the underdogs going into the game, there's a little bit less pressure on the players, and I think that's a good sign, and I think they'll react to that.
You experienced the double-header situations as a player yourself now. How easy is it to put a performance like that to the back of your, like the Slovakia one, to the back of your mind? And
it's fairly easy, because I'll tell you why, Mark, because the expectations lowered, because you're playing a top side. Russia are considered one of the best teams in Europe. No one really expects Ireland to go into Moscow and win the game. So there's the pressure off straight away. The expectations lowered. So you can go out there and express yourselves. If you get anything out of the game, fantastic. Now, we have been in situations like this before, where Italy was in our group, and over 2 legs Italy couldn't beat us. This is an opportunity for the players really to get that bad performance out of the system and put on a good one. And I think they're more than capable of doing it. I think the fitness level will be increased. It's about selecting the right side, and I think if Trapattoni does that, we're in a good chance of doing something. Because, as I say, if we lost it 2-0 or 1-0, no one would be surprised at that. But if we can go in there and actually take the game to Russia, or even hit them on the counter-attack, I think we're more than capable of getting a result there.
It's been a characteristic of Irish sides to perform when they're up against the odds, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. History will suggest that. Whenever we've played against so-called teams that are meant to be better than us, you normally get a performance, and I don't expect anything less. I mean, the press, I'm sure, will be critical of the players going forward. They can't be, they can't be critical of the defence, or the way that we defended. 6 clean sheets in a row. You've got to do something right. There's not many international teams that can, say that they've done that. So that's a positive. Shane goals are positive. The only negative there is Sean Ledger. He got a needless booking in the game against Slovakia, so he'll be out with this match against Russia. And then how do you manage the team? Does John O'Shea go into centre half? Does Darren O'Dea come in? How do you manoeuvre things around? That'll be interesting to see what the manager does. And midfield, James McCarthy, does he come into the setup now? How do you change things around? Is Shane Long going to be fit? Do you go with Kevin Doyle? So there's a lot of decisions to be made by the manager going into this game, and he's got to shape what Ireland do.
Plastic pitches have obviously come on a long way since you were playing, but how big a factor do you think it's going to be on Tuesday night?
Huge. I'm not a great fan of the plastic pitch, to be honest, because there's obviously an advantage to the team that plays on it, because they're training on it and they've worked on it. So yeah, although as I say, their form at home hasn't been as impressive. So the boys, I think it'll suit the smaller players, the more technical players like a McGeady, Robbie Keane, Damien Duff. I think they'll thrive in that, because you can move your body position quickly, and not always the defender can go with you. So yeah, so there's some good plus points for the Irish team going into it. it's just how you adapt to the occasion. You know, is the match too big? You know, because of what's at stake. You lose this, you know, the chances are you might not even finish in the top two, and there's another campaign going by, and for a lot of our older players it might be their last campaign, so there's huge pressure going into the game. And
pressure too on the Russian side in front of an often unforgiving home support.
Yeah, but the expectation on them will be high, you know, after them, you know, being 3 points ahead of Ireland. What they'll suggest is, with the head-to-head, they've already beat Ireland away. Even if they drew this game, they'd still be odds-on favourites to go through. They've still got some tough encounters along the way, but they've been through it before. You know, they've been in the major championships of late, much more so than Ireland have. So they know what it takes to get over the line, as we say, into qualification. So, yeah, they'll still be the favourites to do it. I mean, it'll be a big concern for them if they lose. You know, they'll be more than happy to take a draw, but if they were to lose this one, you know, they're in a precarious position for qualification.
And can we get a tip from you for Tuesday night's game?
Well, the tip is, you know, never bet against an Irish team that when they're the underdogs. You know, that would be my point here is the players will respond. They'll react to the performance that they had against Slovakia, and I'm sure they'll be out there trying their level best for the country, their level best for the 1,000 fans that will be who are going over to watch the game, and for themselves. You know, they know for a lot of players that this is the last opportunity, and they won't want to let them pass them by without putting in a huge effort, and I expect them to do that. One thing you will be assured of is energy, you know, this drive and commitment from each other. If we're not good enough today because we haven't got enough ability, that's just one of the unfortunate factors where Russia might have better players than us, but they won't be better than us when it comes to organisation and fitness and energy and putting as much effort as they can into the game.
So where are you putting your €10?
Well, I'm forever the optimist. You know, there's nothing I'd love to see more than to see Ireland qualify for a major championship. I think it's something that we dearly need for the economy, for the feel-good factor of the country, for the fans who've supported the team over the years, and for the players who've put in a huge effort over the last few campaigns, and with not a great reward. You know, think back to Mr. Trapattoni's tenure as manager. You know, we've played 19 games. He's won 8, he's drawn 9, he's only lost 2, and he's under huge pressure to keep his job. That's international football for you.
Great stuff, Ray. Thanks very much.
Okay.